Well, thank you. Thank you. It's so good to be back. Jeanette and I were talking about, I think the last time we were here was during the campaign when we did the lieutenant governor announcement, and it was packed to the brim, and there were a lot of people outside that have different opinions. So it's great to be able to be back and be able to make a good announcement about some of the things we're going to continue to be doing with the vaccines. I would be remiss if I didn't, as a proud Floridian and a proud native of the Tampa Bay area, just to say that when you win a Super Bowl with a 43-year-old quarterback coming in who has a pretty doggone good career up to this point, and you do it on your home stadium, and you do it against the defending champion, it was really, really exciting last night. And the defense, but there's all kind of great things, coaches, all that. But had Tom Brady not decided to come to Tampa Bay, they would not have been hosting the Lombardi Trophy. So my hat's off to them. And I think the two greatest team sports achievements in the NFL history are the undefeated Dolphins and Tom Brady winning a 7th Super Bowl at the home stadium at age 43. So not bad for the state of Florida, especially when you consider all 4 major sports had a Florida team in the final game. We won the Stanley Cup, obviously the Super Bowl. NBA had the finals, and then also Major League Baseball. So it's really, really good. It's also good to be here at see the Bay of Pigs Museum, members of Brigade 2506. The fight against communism was, and still is, a noble cause. And when Cuba fell to communism in 1959, too few were willing to recognize what this meant, the destruction of a once proud island nation. Members of Brigade 2506, though, refused to stand idly by and allow their country to be imprisoned by a communist dictator. Now, the Bay of Pigs occurred nearly 60 years ago. The men who took a stand against communism have been vindicated by history. Just look at Cuba. It's an impoverished, backwards tyranny. And also you look around the Western Hemisphere, those countries that embraced Marxism, Leninism have witnessed calamitous results. And we see that every day, particularly in the socialist dictatorship of Venezuela. Meanwhile, as Cuba has suffered under the yoke of communism, the veterans of the Bay of Pigs and many other Cuban exiles have lived here in South Florida in freedom, and they and their families have served as the backbone of this community in Miami for decades. And just compare the success that we see down here in South Florida to the impoverishment and the disaster that we see in places like Cuba living under communism. So Cuba's loss was our gain. These are veterans that we really appreciate. And when we did the vaccine to do seniors first, the primary reason to do seniors first because seniors have been the most vulnerable to COVID-19. And so it's an evidence-based decision that if you can vaccinate the vulnerable people first, it doesn't mean that someone that's younger and healthier is not going to get it if they're not vaccinated, but it does mean that you are going to reduce the number of people going into hospitals, and you are going to save lives. And so that's why we put seniors first. But I also said we put seniors first just from the point of view of these are our parents and grandparents. These are the people that we draw inspiration from. 2 weeks ago, I was able to witness a vaccine for a World War II veteran that was 100 years old. Had done a lot in his life, and we very much appreciate it. Last year, to initiate our Homebound Seniors program for vaccination, I was able to go to the condo of a Holocaust survivor who's 85 years old. And so today, we are expanding the Homebound Seniors program. Now, we obviously have some seniors, some veterans that are here, but what the brigade did when Senator Diaz and some of the other folks reached out to us when they saw us, what we were doing with some of the veterans and with the Holocaust survivors, hey, could you expand this? Can we go visit some of the homes here in Miami to be able to help with the Bay of Pigs veterans? And we said, absolutely, we would do that. And so we are inspired by folks that have been willing to stand up and fight for freedom. We understand that they were on the right side of history. So we'll have 3 done today right here. And we have Ellie Cesar, who joined Brigade 2506 at 23 years old. Raul Vallejo joined the brigade at 8 years old, and Rigoberto Montesinos, who joined the brigade at 22, and all three were captured by Castro's forces and spent 20 months as POWs before their negotiated release in December of 1962. We will also have other Bay of Pigs veterans and their spouses will receive it in the comfort of their own homes as part of the pilot project to be able to bring vaccines directly to seniors in their home, and I'm really excited to be able to do this. We also are continuing to make more progress in terms of vaccine availability. We got 307,000 for this week that ended, I guess today, because we get the new ones later today or tomorrow, and we're going to actually get almost 330,000 for next week. So that's something that's really, really good. We also, because we have some more vaccines that we can put, we're going to do an additional site in Miami-Dade County for underserved neighborhoods. And we're going to announce that within the next day or two. But we're going to try to do 200 seniors a day, 7 days a week, in an area that may not have as many people that have been vaccinated. And that'll be something that'll be very, very important. We also have two major drive-through sites, Marlin Stadium and Hard Rock Stadium. We just doubled the lanes at Hard Rock Stadium. And we're also looking to be able to expand into Miami-Dade County the retail pharmacy program. So we had worked with some of the state's allocations with Publix. Those were generally in counties that didn't have as much healthcare infrastructure as Miami-Dade, and so we focused on high percentages of seniors, more mid-sized counties. Palm Beach was the first really big county we've done. It's been very, very successful. Palm Beach, we have over 40% of the seniors that have gotten shots, and I think Palm Beach per capita is probably one of the top performing counties because it was in 67 Publixes right in Palm Beach County. So the federal government, and we've been waiting for when this was going to happen, they have a pharmacy program that they have been telling us for many weeks now they were going to turn on. These are doses that are over and above what the state's allotment from the federal government is. So if we're getting 325,000 doses, that'll be distributed. The pharmacy will be on top of that, and so it doesn't come out of our allocation. So we think that that's something that's really exciting. So we're going to be making announcements on where those are, but we are going to be continue with Publix, but we're also going to be doing Walmart, which is something that's in a lot of communities. And actually, there's some communities that don't have a Publix, but that do have a Walmart. And we're working with Walmart to be able to make the announcements. But clearly, because we did the Publix in some of the smaller or medium-sized counties and didn't get it into Dade, we're definitely going to get retail pharmacy into Miami-Dade County. So we'll have an announcement on that, but I think that's another way where seniors will be able to access the vaccine. We're about 1.5 million reported seniors have received at least one dose. We're about 3 million total doses that have been administered. Of course, the reporting's lags on this by many days, so we're probably well over 1.5 million seniors, which is, we're a third or more of the seniors in Florida have gotten one shot. And of all the vaccines that have been administered, we're close to 75% of all vaccines that have been administered have gone to senior citizens. That is prioritizing the right groups. That is focusing on where the risk is. And we have more seniors vaccinated in Florida than any other state by far, and we're going to continue to do it. And I think some of these additional retail options are going to be very, very good for that. Of course, we're still doing the church groups. I was at Turnberry Jewish Center, Aventura Turnberry Jewish Center last week. We did an interfaith alliance with Christian, Muslim, and Jewish houses of worship, and we're going to continue doing that. We've also done pods in senior communities. So we were in, actually we had one in Broward last week. We were in Sun City Center over in the Tampa area. We've done it in the villages. Actually, we did Kings Point up in Delray Beach. So when you have high concentrations of seniors, we can go in, set up, let thousands of people come in over a few days and really get a lot done very, very quickly. We also, I'm a little disappointed, quite frankly, we're excited about the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, which will be able to add our capacity to be able to administer vaccines. I'm a little bit perplexed as to why they would set the end of February as the date to be able to make this decision. We already have data coming in. They filed an application for emergency use. We understood it wasn't going to be like a 24-hour process, but they've set the date for the very end of February. I think that in these times, working around the clock is something that you should be doing to be able to get these things approved as soon as possible. So hopefully there's a way they'll be able to prove it before then, because this is like almost 4 weeks that they will have allowed this to go. And I think we want to get the J&J. So the question with J&J, one dose, which is very good. You don't have to get a booster shot. You don't have to freeze it, so it can be in normal refrigeration. It could be in a doctor's office. It could be wherever you want. I think it's something that will have universal application. The efficacy, I think, has actually been undersold. It's 66% against infection, but after 28 days, it was 100% prevention of death and hospitalization, which is really what we're, I think, really looking at here. So that's going to be a good tool. And I think the question is, when are they going to do the EUA? And is there any way they could do it sooner? But then once they do it, whatever is available will ship the next day. But how much is that? Is that 1 million for the whole country? Is it 10 million for the whole country? If it's something along the lines of 10 million, Florida's share would be pretty meaningful. If there's only 1 million doses, I mean, we would obviously use whatever they gave us, but it wouldn't be quite the game changer right off the bat. We also are watching Pfizer with the increased production and some of the things that they have said by May. If we start getting more and more Pfizer, we have a lot of capacity to store it in the -70. I mean, people have these freezers, people have invested in them, and we'll be able to put that to good use. So we want to make sure that we're keeping an eye out for that. But I think what's going to happen is when all the vaccines got dumped in Christmas time, obviously the hospitals were doing what they were doing, but they didn't really pick up until the new year. So initially it was like, okay, there's these vaccines, they should all be going. Then things started picking up, and you were doing 350, 400, 450 a week of initial doses, but the supply was not 350, 400, 450. It was about 250,000 a week. We were getting 266. Now we're finally over 300. So you have a lot of demand, and the supply isn't quite there. But what's happening is, as more and more seniors get the shot, it softens the demand a little bit. We still have a lot of people on the website and everything, don't get me wrong. But I think what will happen is, as we get through more and more seniors, you'll see the demand start to soften. If you start getting more and more Pfizer coming in and you get Johnson & Johnson, then all of a sudden you're going to be getting more and more doses. And so it will probably be a little easier to be able to get these appointments. And I think for seniors, there'll be more availability. Then, once that demand signal is a little softer, then you look at expanding this into other segments of the population. But our view is seniors first. We're not going to rest until every senior that wants a shot gets a shot. I think we'll be able to, if we can continue to get 300,000+, if we do get J&J, if we get some more Pfizer and the federal pharmacy program on top of all of this, we're going to be in much better shape in terms of the supply than we were a couple weeks ago. So all in all, I think that this has been something that's given people a lot of hope. Of course, if you look at the COVID metrics nationwide, I mean, it's going down all across the country, which is a really good sign. In Florida, I mean, we've had, I think, a 25, 30, 35%, something pretty steep drop in the COVID patients being treated in Florida hospitals statewide. And even in Miami-Dade, I think the hospital census for COVID reached about half of what it was over the summer when we went through the winter season with this. And so I think folks here have done a really good job. So I think there's a lot to be excited about. We just got to keep plugging away. This program is another way that we're trying to do it. Go to churches, go to synagogues. We were out at Pahokee in western Palm Beach County visiting an underserved community. We have retail sites. Hospitals are still doing a lot. And if you look, the hospitals are doing a lot of the second doses now because those are coming due. So you're doing 50, 60,000 second doses a day, which is really, really good. So we're running the gamut on this, and we're going to continue to do it until our seniors get what they need. But I'm excited to be able to be here and to see these shots go. So do we have Moderna or Pfizer? Pfizer, okay. Their shot, and then we'll make sure that you get the appointment for 21 days to be able to get the booster shot. So do you guys want to go ahead and do the thing? I guess they've already signed their consent forms, so they're ready to go with that. And now I guess you guys are ready to do the poking. Okay.
Talking about our appreciation.
Oh, cool. Oh, well, this is much better than mine.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
Honorary members.
Governor, thank you so much for being here and all the help you give in Miami.
Yeah, of course.
You've taken the right approach. We absolutely support your seniors first. You know, we got the majority of seniors in Lower Miami-Dade right here in the city of Miami, in this district that I represent. So, all the help you can give us, we'd be very grateful.
We're going to do hopefully more
Go stand by the gentleman. Yeah.
TV. Eso lo dije yo, ya estamos en campaña. Ya estamos calentando motores. Oye, ¿por qué tú no pones una inyección también? ¿Por qué tú no pones una inyección? No.
Okay, you ready?
No problem.
No, no, these guys can handle a lot more.
You'll have the second one in 21 days.